Welcome to M Squared TechCast, a live show offering the latest news and interviews with the people driving business, technology, and politics in Michigan. Now, your hosts, Matt Roush and Mike Brennan.
We're back for our final segment in our first video show. How about that? We actually should turn the camera just a little bit so you can see Jessica, right?
When I have makeup on, yes. Not
Okay,
today.
we promised you the Jessica cam, but not this week. Maybe next week. So we have in studio Jacob Evan Smith, who is the partnership manager at Altimetik.
Yes, sir.
I pronounced that right, I think, right? Yeah.
Altimetrik.
Yeah, okay, good. Let's start from the top and assume that people don't know what Altimetrik is, because you guys are the new kid on the block downtown, actually, downtown Detroit. So what is it you guys do?
And actually, there's been some updates since we last talked, so I can fill you in.
Okay.
So I'm running a brand new space in downtown Detroit called the Altimetric Collider. So we have a name for the space now since you and I last connected, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Altimetric, the company's been around for about 5 years. Actually, a pretty a decent size, 2,200 employee software services firm.
Sure.
Headquartered actually in Southfield, Michigan, with a global presence.
Right.
Works with Fortune 500 clients. Locally, Ford is our most notable local client.
Heard of it.
And very, very basically, in layman's terms, explaining it to my grandma, Altimetric essentially hires talented software engineers and fills specific talent gaps at these big clients, and also has a specific expertise in DevOps consulting, so helping big clients deliver product more efficiently, software products. And kind of keep up with the trends in terms of the ever-changing world of software development.
Sort of like a headhunter, sort of like an HR agency, kind of combined, right?
Yeah. So staff augmentation, I think, is the industry term there. And then a heavy focus on DevOps consulting. So the point of expertise is digital transformation. So helping big clients stay ahead of the curve in terms of keeping up with the rapidly changing world of software, which, needless to say, big corporations aren't necessarily the best equipped to change quickly.
They move kind of slow.
Yeah. So Altimetric steps in and helps clients like Ford do that. What I'm doing with the Collider space is actually launching, or have launched. We're formally launched. It's the community-facing branch of Altimetric. So the space is the Collider. It's located right in downtown Detroit, above Wright & Company, right at John R. and Woodward, so above John Varvatos and Wright & Company,
right?
1500 Woodward. And what we're looking to do is effectively serve as a collaborative hub for the Detroit software community, as well as serve as like an innovation lab for software startups and technology companies in Detroit.
And at the end of June, I was just getting ready to go on vacation, and since I live in Ann Arbor, I couldn't swing into Detroit for your big opening, grand opening, I guess. But you had the mayor there and some other folks, right?
Oh yeah. So the Mayor Duggan was in the house, which was really exciting, as well as Jack Nasser, former CEO of Ford. Yeah. Which was pretty cool. So both of them gave remarks and kind of engaged in a conversation with the community. Had about 150 guests come through. It was a huge success across the board. We had the mayor physically cut an orange ribbon, which was hysterical. I don't think he was expecting that, so it was pretty cool.
He's a politician. He has to do what he has to do.
He's used
right?
to it, But no, it was that was a formal launch to kind of announce the project to the community. Right. We've actually been up and running, somewhat of like a beta before that. So we did a ton of activation actually for Startup Week the week before,
right?
Where we hosted, we probably had 6 or so programs throughout the course of the week.
Yeah.
In the space during Startup Week.
Monica Wheat and Company, right?
Oh yeah. So Monica Wheat and the Venture Catalyst team did an exceptional job. This year was actually run by Olivia Gutterson. And yeah, essentially, we just wanted to step in and help however we best could and activate our space at the same time. And the way we did that was by kind of hosting technical programs, showing off kind of what the space is all about. And yeah, that was really exciting. And then culminated with our launch party last Thursday.
So at the facility itself, what exactly are you going to be doing there?
Yeah, so just to kind of create some imagery here, we're talking about 3,000 square feet, open floor plan. Everything's on wheels, so we can do in terms of like event types. It's effectively picture an event space and kind of an open work space coupled with an innovation lab. And I know that's some jargon, so let me break that down.
Yeah.
So what the space physically will be is during the day, we'll be doing some different, some version of open work where we'll actually be hosting, using the space effectively as a co-working space, probably not selling desks a la WeWork and Bamboo in that model, but rather kind of for folks that are currently working from home or working from coffee shops, welcoming people to come and change of scenery, come enjoy an environment that's specifically designed for software developers. So it'll be a little bit quieter. If people are wearing headphones, you don't mess with them. That type of kind of vibe. What someone responded to me, oh, so like kind of like a cool library. It's like, yeah, I guess like a library vibe. So an environment that during the day software developers can come and work in a collaborative environment, and then with a heavy focus on events and programming. So I'm talking about meetups. We're working with a lot of local software meetup organizers. We actually have about 6 meetups already that we're hosting this month.
Wow.
Right. So that's Detroit Rust, Detroit React, Detroit JavaScript, Motor City software testers. So software specific meetups using the space, hosting in the space. We're sponsoring food in those cases as well. And then supplementing that with educational workshops, hackathons, social events geared towards the technical audience, like maybe video game tournaments or something like that. So programming specifically geared towards a technical software audience is a heavy focus of the space. And then on the flip side, I keep mentioning the innovation lab piece. We're actually going to be effectively have a full-time Scrum team available. So it's almost like an on-demand Scrum team that could step in and offer basically like development boosting services for local technology companies. So that could be startups, that could be larger companies that have a heavy tech component, but essentially project-based kind of short-term. We step in, support your team. Maybe your team doesn't have the necessary expertise, or maybe you're under resourced, looking to launch a specific feature. Let's say our team could step in, crank out that feature, hand you back the code, and then step away on a per project basis, per contract basis.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, what is the end game of the Collider? What are you hoping to achieve with that? And is you got your events, you got all your meetups. Is it partly recruiting? Is it partly what? I mean, trying to define for me.
I have the best job in the world because Altimetrik is really trusting me to. My job is essentially to add as much value as I can for the Detroit software community.
Sure.
So, and that comes all the way back to from our leadership in terms of my incentives. My job is to make the space valuable and active. So if I'm not doing that, then none of this is successful. In terms of what Altimetrik is hoping to get out of this investment, effectively think of it as part community building. So Altimetrik sees an inherent value in kind of building a positive brand in the community. So similar to how why companies volunteer at so this is an opportunity for Altimetrik to build brand awareness through community engagement. It's a talent cultivation opportunity. So by casting a wide net and creating a positive association with local software developers, we're hoping to cultivate talent that will, when folks are looking to switch jobs, they will think of us.
Right.
So that's a piece of it. And then the third piece is really kind of like a corporate showcase. So we're doing lots of engagement in the space with clients like Ford, bringing them through and showing them, hey, look at all the innovative things that we're doing. Whereas before we might have, put something together, doing what we would call spec work. So like we would just kind of use our own resources to put something together. Now we're going to be developing these types of, showing off our team's ability to innovate and come up with creative solutions regularly. And then we can bring our clients through the space and it's a business development opportunity to showcase kind of our team's capabilities.
Promotion and marketing, essentially.
Yeah, so I think from the Altimetrik lens, it's safe to kind of simplify it and think of it as a marketing spend. And then,
would Altimetrik then be looking to recruit some of these people or partner with these people, or what?
Yeah, I think recruiting has a specific connotation in being kind of a hard sell, where somebody's specifically targeting folks and offering a specific position.
Right.
This is more of a pull strategy than a push strategy. So yes, recruiting in the sense that Altimetrik is actively hiring for a variety of software engineering positions. But it's a soft sell, not a hard sell. So I'm not stepping in and saying, it's not as if I'm only hosting events for folks that could potentially be immediate hires at Altimetric.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of it much more kind of holistically, saying if I'm doing my job and effectively adding value for the software community,
Mm-hmm.
I want people to think of us when they're looking for a job, because Altimetric is an awesome company that is dedicated to authentically supporting the software community.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That does, actually. So Altimetric, what city is it based out of again?
Altimetric's actually headquartered in Southfield, Michigan, right in the
is.
Southfield Town Center. Yep.
I wasn't sure. Of course, Town Center is very big. So how many folks do they have there then? 2,200
boy.
worldwide?
About 2,200 worldwide, and that's across the country.
Right.
Offices in India, offices in
Ooh.
Uruguay.
So is it an Indian-based company, or did it start in India?
Headquartered in Southfield. So it's started by an Indian American entrepreneur,
All right.
Raj Vadakudi. So successful, long time serial entrepreneur, so to speak, who actually has built and sold another large successful company in Michigan previously.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage folks to look up Raj Vadakudi's background.
Mm-hmm.
Really incredible business leader locally, very kind of under the radar, modest guy. So he's not in the limelight. He's someone who's really stayed out of the limelight. I think kind of intentionally. He's a real kind of modest guy, but at the same time, a very successful businessman locally who launched this business a number of years ago, and has grown through. It's basically a series of acquisitions and through growing the business.
Because I knew Raj in another life, and it seemed like he had a different company. That's where the Altimetric name kind of threw me.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what the company name was when he started.
Covansys? Or?
That's what it was. Okay, yeah.
Yep. So Raj scaled and sold Covansys, I want to say, in the late 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Or excuse me, in like 2007, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
He has a family foundation that's based locally, does a lot of work supporting the local hospitals, as well as a ton of really interesting work doing like robotic surgery in India and interesting things. So it's a whole ecosystem of businesses that Raj has his within his umbrella, and so Altimetric was born out of that ecosystem. Yeah, and I apologize, I don't remember the original question there, but
I was just trying to remember
how
what
many people.
How many people here in Southfield? About 1,000, 800, somewhere on there. Or?
Less. We have 80 engineers at Ford, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then in the Southfield office, man, so it's funny. I actually spend all my time at the Collider, so I'm like the worst person to ask. But man, the Southfield office probably have 100, 200 employees locally, if I had to guess.
So really scattered around all over the place then.
Oh, the team is very distributed, and notably, a majority of our employees work full time on site at clients.
Ah.
So our engineers that work at Ford work full time at Ford,
Mm-hmm.
and would be somewhat indistinguishable from other Ford employees unless you knew that they were Altimetric employees.
Got
and so
it.
we pay their salary, we pay their benefits, but they work essentially full time at Ford.
All right. So we got about a minute and a half left. Let me give you a chance to one more. And I'm sure you're hiring, right? We'll just talk a little bit of hiring, talk a little about the Collider, and then we'll wrap the show up here.
Absolutely. Really quick on the hiring front. So I'm actually looking for someone to support me in the Collider space. So that job description will be going live soon, but effectively like a community manager / someone who could help me with actual event logistics, social media potentially, kind of like photo and design skills would be ideal, but not necessary. So look out for that getting posted soon. In terms of Altimetric with software engineering opportunities, full stack Java is always in high demand. iOS and Android developers, as well as a few other things, project managers and things of that sort. And we're kind of always looking for different things, but that's out the gate things that I know that we're actively hiring for.
Okay.
And in terms of an ask with the Collider, we're looking to get the space active. So go to colliderdetroit.com.
That was what I was going to ask next,
Yep, colliderdetroit.com. So go there and you can sign up for our email list to get updates and read a bit more about what we're working on. More details will be added to that kind of as they come. We'll have a calendar of events coming soon. You can find us on meetup.com /Collider Detroit as well.
Yep.
As well as social media, Collider Detroit. And effectively companies that are looking for the type of support that I mentioned. So if your team is either under-resourced or needs some outside expertise to help you take either a feature or maybe a proof of concept, develop a proof of concept, that is our team's expertise, and we would love to help you. So please feel free to reach out. I'm J Smith at altimetric.com.
And there you go.
Altimetrik.
Jacob Evan Smith at Altimetric. Thanks for being on our first video show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Traditional
And so,
four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life. But LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.